Stick with me here. Summing loses his city job and heads back with just a broken suitcase. At the village entrance, a super rude, rich bully named Zhao Bin blocks his path with a flashy car. Zhao mocks Summing for being completely broke. He tells him to sell his family's lifeless land to pay his sick grandpa's debts. Summing boldly tells him to back off and head straight home. Inside the rundown house, he finds his sweet grandpa trying to hide a severely swollen and infected leg. Summing makes a firm promise to stay, care for him, and farm their land, even though the whole village calls it totally cursed. He grabs a rusty hoe and marches to the field. The dirt is rock solid, but he fiercely keeps swinging until his hands are completely bruised. When his sweat hits the dirt, an epic magic farming system suddenly unlocks right inside his head. The barren ground instantly turns into ultra-rich black soil, and his injured hands magically heal up right away. The system rewards him with an energy-saving magic hoe, mystical water, and rapid fertilizer. He eagerly plants old tomato seeds, waters them, and quickly mixes in that amazing fertilizer. In just 5 minutes, those seeds sprout into glowing red tomatoes. They smell fantastic, and actually possess incredible healing powers. Right then, Zhao Bin climbs the wall to cause major trouble. But the second he smells those tomatoes, he drools like crazy and pathetically begs to buy them. Summing just smirks, eats one right in front of him to show off the amazing effects, and confidently tells the bully to get completely lost. While Zhao Bin yells angrily from the wall, Summing takes the last 2 magic tomatoes inside to heal his grandpa. Meanwhile, the system cheerfully dings for his very first harvest. Summing watches the magic tomato plant turn to dust and vanish into the dark dirt. Inside, his sick grandfather, Old Man Su, rests in bed with a severely infected leg. He worries about the local bullies, but Summing just gives a warm smile and hands him a bright red tomato. He playfully tells his grandpa this special fruit cost 500 yuan. Before the old man can complain about the price, Summing playfully pops it into his mouth. Now watch closely. Old Man Su takes a bite, and pure heat floods his body. His leg aggressively itches as dark, incredibly smelly toxins pour right out of his skin. Summing holds him down, cheerfully telling him to relax, because it is just flushing out the bad stuff. Soon, the pain completely stops and the old man falls asleep. Summing wipes the leg and is absolutely thrilled to see fresh, healthy skin growing back. He realizes that magical backyard dirt is the real deal. The next morning, Summing wakes up and is absolutely shocked to find the bed empty. He rushes outside and spots his grandpa effortlessly carrying heavy water buckets, looking energetic and decades younger. The old man is totally confused, thinking Summing gave him some super crazy medicine. Suddenly, super greedy village doctor named Liu Dadu kicks the door wide open. Working for the local boss, he arrives to force the fragile old man to sell his land. But when Liu spots the healthy old man standing right there, he nearly loses his mind. Suspecting a trick, Liu hesitates, but Summing boldly orders him out. The terrified doctor and his goons flee. Just as they run off, Lin Zhaoen frantically rushes into the yard. She's a bright young doctor from the clinic and Summing's own childhood friend. Seeing the old man active, she totally panics, thinking it is just a final burst of energy before someone passes away. She quickly checks his leg, and is absolutely stunned to find it completely healed. Baffled by science, she scolds Summing, assuming he used some dangerous, illegal performance drugs. Summing cheerfully takes her to the backyard, points at the dirt, and proudly claims he grew the cure right there. Zhao En thinks he is going crazy, because everyone knows that farmland is totally lifeless. Desperate, she tries giving him her life savings for a real hospital. Summing flashes a warm smile, gently returns the cash, and asks her to simply trust him. She leaves, feeling frustrated, but still caring enough to say call if anything goes wrong. Once alone, an excited Summing eagerly grabs a handful of old cabbage seeds. Touching the dirt, he feels an incredibly strange, magical connection with the earth. You and I both want to see this. He starts digging, ready to discover what else this land does. Summing happily works the dirt, but instead of exhaustion, he feels fantastic. A glowing system screen pops up, revealing his body is actually leveling up just from digging. He plants cabbage and tomato seeds, then waters them with the special magical spring water. The system estimates a 5-day growth period, but the very second he steps back, bam! The seeds explosively sprout straight out of the rich ground. For the next 3 days, Summing grinds non-stop. His body absorbs pure energy straight from the earth. completely transforming him from a skinny kid into a powerhouse. The plants change too. The huge cabbages grow fast, looking just like clear green glass. When tapped, they make a crisp sound. They smell so incredibly heavenly that just breathing near them leaves a person feeling completely refreshed and fully energized. Right then, Lin Ziyo-wen sprints up the hill. Remember, she is the young town doctor and Su Ming's deeply caring childhood friend. She is super worried about his mental health lately, even bringing a ticket to send him straight to a professional brain doctor. So what do you and I make of this? Seeing his new muscles, she freezes, then spots the giant glowing vegetable. She dropped her bag, stunned. Fake plastic plants for a prank? Su Ming just grinned widely and casually snapped off a huge, thick cabbage leaf. Let's jump right in. A crazy fresh scent instantly hit Ziyo-wen, erasing all her late-night work stress immediately. Even though she felt completely ridiculous, her instinct screamed at her to eat it. So she took a huge bite. That cool juice instantly healed her sore neck and aching shoulders. Losing total control, she devoured the whole leaf, like a starving little hamster, happily licking her sticky fingers. When she finally realized what she just did, she blushed bright red. Su Ming grabbed a piece too, casually dropping that this exact stuff perfectly cured his grandpa's bad legs. Ziyo-wen's mind was absolutely blown away. She quickly realized this was no regular vegetable. It was super medicine. Instantly, blind panic set in. She totally scolded him for leaving such a priceless, crazy treasure sitting outside without proper fences or any security cameras. She warned that greedy giant corporations would definitely ruin him if they found out. Su Ming smiled calmly, saying he totally trusted her with the business side. Ziyo-wen got extremely serious, pulled herself together quickly, and declared they were definitely selling this as a luxury super health product. Staring at those glowing, juicy tomatoes, she knew they were hitting the jackpot. Su Ming happily tossed a special red tomato to Lin Ziyo-wen, his brilliant and sharp business partner. She took one big bite and was instantly hooked by that magical sweet and sour flavor. Knowing this magic farm was a literal money printer, she promised to drain her savings, fence the entire hill, and sell veggies to wealthy retired bosses. After he warmly told her to visit for breakfast every single day, she rode off happily on her scooter. Later that evening, Su Ming was brainstorming how to fund repairs for his grandpa's old house when, suddenly, the power and water just completely shut off. Now watch closely. A loud Land Rover rolled right into his yard. It was Zhao Bin and his ridiculously arrogant dad, Zhao Daiqiang. They obviously cut the utilities on purpose, trying to force Su Ming to sell his land for 50,000. Su Ming just laughed right back, told the dad to remove those sunglasses before falling into a ditch, and firmly locked his front gate. The Zhaos sped away, convinced Su Ming would soon come begging for help. But honestly, Su Ming wasn't worried about it at all, because the water vanished. His farming system kicked in, pulling pure magic energy and cooling mist from the air to water crops, making them grow unbelievably fast. He suddenly noticed he could see flawlessly in the pitch dark, all thanks to eating those amazing, super special veggies. He checked the old backyard, well, happily discovering the water was pure and packed with crazy energy. He took a freezing shower with it, feeling his muscles instantly grow super tight and strong. Next morning, Su Ming gave his grandpa a piece of special jade cabbage. The old man happily ate it, and his years of bad knee pain instantly vanished. After his energetic grandpa left for a long walk, Su Ming started digging the field. As he worked, his body sweated out all dark, smelly toxins from his stressful city life. The system just kept leveling his stats. Testing his awesome new power, he grabbed a heavy stone millstone weighing 300 pounds and lifted it effortlessly one-handed. While checking his crops later, Su Ming heard a fast, suspicious rustling noise. A massive, crazy wild rabbit dashed right out, lured by the magic veggies. Moving super fast, Su Ming expertly swung his heavy shovel and knocked it out in one clean hit. Looking at the huge rabbit, he realized these magic crops would constantly attract wild animals and greedy folks like the Zhaos. He definitely needed a reliable guard. I know what you're thinking. His eyes locked onto Da Huang, his grandpa's 10-year-old, exhausted dog. Time to give his old furry best buddy a major upgrade. Su Ming took a slightly bruised magic tomato and some special cabbage leaves, crushed them together in a bowl, and fed the wild mix to his old, fading dog, Big Yellow. The dog licked the bowl clean and froze completely. A loud cracking sound echoed from its body. The old dog started shaking violently as patchy fur fell away, quickly replaced by a magnificent, thick coat of shiny golden hair. The weak pup entirely transformed into a massive, calf-sized beast with glowing, fierce green eyes. It completely looked like a wild wolf. But when Su Ming reached out, the giant beast happily rubbed its huge head against his hand, proving it was still a loyal pet. Since the dog smelled pretty terrible from the magic change, Su Ming sent it to wash in the river. Later that night, after ensuring his grandpa was deeply asleep, Su Ming heard a loud branch snap outside. Using sharp night vision, he spotted two local troublemakers sneaking around the farm. One was Erg, a known petty thief, and the other was Lise, the absolute village creep. They were whispering a terrible plan to pour weed killer all over the crops to destroy the farm. Following direct orders from a guy named Zhao Bin, Ergu quickly climbed the wall, fully ready to jump and poison dirt. But when he glanced down, he froze absolutely stiff. Waiting patiently in the dark was Big Yellow, looking way less like a dog and more like a massive lion. Before the stunned thief could react, the huge dog jumped up, chomped his leg hard, and tossed him off the 2-meter wall like a ragdoll. Hearing the crash, Lise peeked over. "Trust me, you and I would also pee our pants seeing that giant beast before running away for our lives. Let's dive in." Su Ming steps outside and instantly calms the massive dog down. He walks right up to the injured thief, grabs that dropped poison bottle, and delivers a completely chilling warning to him. He tells Ergu to warn Zhao Bin that if they ever dare to mess with this farm again, his dog will absolutely take them down next time. Completely terrified, the thief scrambles away into darkness. Boom! A system notification suddenly pops into Su Ming's mind. Because his pet successfully guarded the place, he unlocks a brand new reward, a magical thorn fence. He activates it right away. Massive green vines covered in sharp spikes quickly burst from the dirt, completely wrapping the entire yard in just minutes. Su Ming touches a spike and gets a tiny nick, proving this new barrier is incredibly sharp. By the next morning, his grandpa wakes up completely amazed by the giant dog and the massive spike wall surrounding them. Shortly after, Lin Zion rolls up on her scooter. She is a cheerful local girl, helping Su Ming sell his crops. She is totally stunned by the crazy changes, but Su Ming just casually brushes it off as some brand new anti-theft security plant. They load the magical fresh veggies onto a tricycle and head straight for the busy town market. Because they arrived late, they get stuck setting up in a terrible spot right by the trash. Undeterred, Su Ming simply grabs a piece of cardboard and writes down his prices. $100 for one single tomato and $50 for a pound of cabbage. He makes it extremely clear that there is absolutely zero bargaining. Lin Ziaowen feels incredibly embarrassed because the regular sellers next door are practically charging pennies. A crowd quickly gathers, laughing and calling Su Ming totally crazy for selling basic veggies at luxury prices. Now watch closely, because right through that laughing crowd, 3 local street punks aggressively push to the front. The group's leader, some blonde guy, stares at Lin Ziaowen creepily and actually tries to snatch a shiny tomato for absolutely free. Su Ming instantly smacks the punk's hand away with the stick, firmly telling him to keep away from the goods. Clutching his stinging hand, the blonde punk completely loses his temper, rallying his 2 buddies to smash the stall. The crowd nervously backs away as this local thug tries causing major trouble at Su Ming's tricycle. Lin Ziaowen, the sweet girl helping Su Ming, gets genuinely scared and desperately tries to stop the fight. But Su Ming simply steps right up and stares fiercely into the thug's eyes. His glare is so icy and intense that it reminds the thug of a dangerous wild wolf. Sweating with fear, he backs off, but Pedley orders his gang to block the stall so nobody can buy anything. For 2 hours, the hot sun beats down, and they make 0 sales. Lin Ziaowen is totally ready to quit, but Su Ming just checks the time. He picks up a bright red tomato, grabs his knife, and slices it perfectly in half. The inside looks like glowing red crystal, and instantly, an unbelievably good smell fills the air. It definitely is not your average, normal tomato scent. It is a perfect blend of sweet earth and warm sunshine that completely wipes out those gross market smells. Everyone stops what they are doing. People fighting or walking away just freeze in place, their mouths completely watering. You and I know what comes next. He sets it down, and the amazed crowd pushes forward for a closer look. Suddenly, a large guy in a traditional suit aggressively pushes to the front. This is Wang Difa, a wealthy restaurant owner who is notoriously known around town for being super cheap. But right now, he is sweating and pointing at the veggies like he just discovered pure gold. He loudly yells that he wants to buy the entire truck. Seeing this, the cowardly blonde thug quickly runs away, knowing he absolutely cannot mess with Wang. Su Ming calmly hands Wang the half-cut tomato. Wang shoves it into his mouth. His eyes immediately light up, and he looks at Su Ming like the literal god of wealth. He quickly drags Su Ming and the truck back to his restaurant. Inside the hot, super busy restaurant kitchen, head chef Lee is loudly yelling. He sees the cabbage and calls it pig feed. Furious that Wang wants to serve it to a super picky city VIP, Su Ming totally ignores the yelling, grabs a big knife, and slices the cabbage. It sounds like cutting crisp glass, and the inside looks exactly like green jade. Then he pours hot chicken soup over it. The heat makes the fresh smell explode, totally taking over the entire busy kitchen space. Chef Lee takes a tiny bite of a leftover scrap. It melts right in his mouth, perfectly sweet. Shocked, he literally drops his chopsticks in disbelief. While waiting to see if the VIP guest actually likes it, Chef Lee is sweating and panicking. But then a breathless waiter runs in. He says the picky guest slammed his fist on the table simply because the food was unbelievably good. The guest licked the plate clean and wants to pay 10 times the price for more. Hearing this, the whole kitchen happily cheers. Chef Lee jumps up, practically begging Su Ming to sell them absolutely everything. But Su Ming just smiles and says they need to discuss the real price first. Up in a fancy private room, Wang wipes his sweat and nervously asks if the veggies are really just $50 a pound. Su Ming sits back and calmly points out that Wang's severe joint pain is suddenly gone. Stunned, Wang realizes the tomato he ate earlier actually healed him. That is where we leave it. Wang offers $500 a pound for the magic truck. Trust me, you and I are going to love this epic story. Su Ming refuses an exclusive deal, so boss Wang quickly pays $58,000 in pure cash to secure those veggies. Su Ming casually stuffs the huge pile of money into a dirty fertilizer bag. He then pulls out a nice stack of cash and hands it right to Lin Ziyo Wen to thank her. She tries saying no, but looking into his incredibly calm eyes, she realizes this guy completely changed. Su Ming, a guy who used to be a total pushover, but suddenly leveled up, walks out of the fancy restaurant with Lin Ziyo Wen, gorgeous village doctor. Right at the entrance, they bump into Zhao Bin, a rich and incredibly arrogant bully. Zhao Bin spots Su Ming holding that cheap, dirty bag and starts mocking him, honestly thinking our hero is just a poor loser collecting trash. When Zhao Bin orders his goons to attack, restaurant owner boss Wang rushes out and slaps the arrogant bully right in the face. Wang screams to back off, declaring Su Ming his top VIP guest. Zhao Bin is completely speechless. Su Ming just smiles, hops onto his old tricycle with Zhao En and all that fresh cash, leaving a totally furious Zhao Bin screaming for revenge. Riding back to their village, Zhao En is absolutely amazed because Su Ming bought a ton of premium goods, like expensive pork, fancy liquor, and a brand new pipe for grandpa. Su Ming feels amazing because he can finally treat his family after years of struggle. When they pull up, nosy neighbor Aunt Liu tries mocking him, totally assuming his vegetable business completely failed. Su Ming completely ignores her and walks straight inside. When Grandpa Su sees the expensive food and bags of cash, he totally panics, thinking his grandson did something highly illegal. Zhao En quickly steps in, explaining that Su Ming actually made a massive fortune selling his super healthy, premium vegetables to that fancy restaurant in town. Feeling relieved, Grandpa smokes his new pipe. Su Ming also notices Grandpa has a perfectly healed leg, all thanks to eating those magical system crops. Su Ming cooks the pork for dinner, and it smells so unbelievably good that the jealous neighbors start drooling. He tosses some premium meat to his big yellow dog, Da Huang, who has been getting ridiculously strong from eating this special food. After dinner, Su Ming secretly checks his magical system interface. He sees he earned a beginner potion, but needs high-level animal meat to upgrade his farm, so he realizes he must go hunting in the nearby mountains very soon. Don't blink. 3 vans crash through their front gate. A bald thug and his crazy gang step out swinging metal pipes. They were sent by the bully to collect an old debt and snatch the family house. Grandpa tries defending his home while Zhao En attempts calling the police. But the thugs completely jammed the cell signal. Those nosy neighbors just watch from the walls, laughing at the Su family. When thugs rush forward to hurt Grandpa, Su Ming stays totally calm. He casually drops his apple and calls his dog. Da Huang jumps in like an absolute beast, instantly taking down one guy and pinning the bald leader down. The massive dog flashes sharp teeth right in his face, terrifying the leader so much that he literally wets his pants. Su Ming calls his dog back, casually picks up the debt paper, and asks the terrified bald leader if Zhao Bin sent him. They actually cornered old man Su, demanding 300,000 in pure cash for a tiny 30,000 loan. Zhao En, the girl standing by the family, bravely points out the obviously fake contract, but the arrogant thugs ignore her. They actually just want the family land deed for their boss, young Master Zhao. You felt this coming, right? The villagers watch in fear, but Su Ming stays calm. He walks inside and returns carrying that dirty fertilizer bag. He dumps 50,000 in pure cash on the ground, saying it covers the real loan plus fair interest. The bald thug completely refuses, kicks the money away, and threatens a brutal beating unless he hands over the land. Su Ming quietly picks up his money and puts it away. Super annoyed, the bald thug violently swings a heavy steel pipe at his head. But to Su Ming, the vicious attack looks ridiculously slow. Using simple farming moves he learned working his magical field, he easily sidesteps and chops the thug on the neck. The bald guy drops unconscious instantly. The remaining gang members rush in, but Su Ming just treats them like pulling weak weeds. He grabs one heavy guy, throwing him into two others, then shatters another knee with one vicious kick. In literally 2 minutes, the entire gang is on the ground crying in agony, leaving old man Su and Zhao En staring in absolute shock. Su Ming walks straight up to the bald leader, who just woke up and is now shaking with terror. Feeling totally desperate, the bald guy screams for help toward the van. The van door slides open and a gigantic man steps out. Known as Iron Tower, he is over 2 meters tall, covered in scars, looking like a walking mountain. He coldly laughs at the beaten gang and glares at Su Ming, totally ready to break bones. Iron Tower charges at Su Ming like a runaway tank, aiming to crush his shoulder. Everyone watches in sheer terror, thinking the young man is finished. And that is where we leave it. To Su Ming, the giant just looks slow. Let us dive in. He firmly plants his foot, drawing intense power straight from the earth, and pushes his hand forward to meet the attack head-on. A loud bang echoes. Instead of Su Ming getting hurt, that 300-pound giant goes flying backward. Iron Tower crashes right through a brick wall, burying himself deep in heavy rubble. Coughing up red essence with broken ribs, Su Ming casually dusts his sleeve off, totally unharmed. Su Ming quickly notices the dark red energy from the huge guy he beat soaking into the dirt. The ground eagerly drinks it right up like a sponge. A system screen instantly pops up, saying this super strong energy actually made the farming dirt a little bit better. He suddenly realizes tough enemies are basically walking fertilizer for his magic farm. The huge guy on the ground sees Su Ming looking at him like a ripe vegetable ready for harvest, and gets absolutely terrified. The bald gang boss and his thugs are completely freaked out and desperately want to run away, but Su Ming easily stops them. He casually grabs their scattered money, counts out exactly 30,000, and throws it right into the bald guy's face to fully pay his family debt. Then he starts charging this gang for the huge mess made. He charges them for breaking the gate, smashing the wall, scaring his poor grandpa and doctor friend Lin Zhao En, plus squashing his special tomatoes. The final damage bill comes to exactly 30,000. The humiliated boss forces his gang to completely empty their pockets. They desperately scrape together 32,000 and hand it over. Now watch this. Su Ming forces him to sign a red fingerprint, proving the debt is clear. He flashes that signed paper at the nosy villagers watching nearby, giving them a freezing cold look to mind their business. The terrified gang quickly grabs their injured buddy and speeds away fast. Afterward, a stunned Grandpa Su and Lin Zhao En immediately ask him how he got so incredibly strong. Su Ming completely lies, claiming he learned basic martial arts in college and simply eats their super healthy, special vegetables daily. They actually believe it. Later that night, in his quiet room, he checks his system. He sees that the gang's weak energy barely leveled up his farm. He quickly realizes he must hunt stronger creatures deep in the mountains to upgrade his magical land much faster. Next morning, Su Ming checks his farm. Those anti-aging cucumbers and muscle-building corn are growing absolutely perfectly. Surprisingly, even the crushed plants that the gang recklessly stepped on are completely healed and thriving. He picks fresh veggies, tosses a juicy tomato to his loyal dog, Big Yellow, to guard the place, and goes to cook breakfast. He prepares a simple cucumber salad for his grandpa. As soon as the old man eats it, his skin gains amazing color, and he literally looks a few years younger instantly. Right as they enjoy eating, a noisy crowd of villagers appears at their gate. These are the exact people who totally ignored them yesterday. Hearing Su Ming paid his giant debt with cash, they are suddenly acting like lifelong best friends. One overly nosy, gossiping woman even tries to set him up with her niece. Su Ming calmly stands there drinking tea, quietly watching these people completely fake their kindness. You saw this coming, right? Shameless Aunt Liu actually steps up, trying to massively guilt-trip him into paying for another random guy's expensive wedding. He flat out rejects her. Since annoying begging fails, Aunt Liu aggressively pushes toward his backyard to rudely snoop on those super valuable, magical vegetables growing there. Su Ming stays perfectly calm, letting his dog Big Yellow handle things. The dog bites her pants fiercely, growling like a dangerous wild beast. Completely scared out of their minds, Aunt Liu and those nosy villagers run away. After clearing that annoying crowd, Su Ming hands Grandpa a thick cash stack to fix the broken wall. He then loads up his rickety, beat-up tricycle with those magical veggies and heads straight to town, riding over to Juxi and Lu, the absolute fanciest restaurant. The front is a complete mess. Rich people block the door with luxury cars, aggressively waving huge cash stacks and screaming at the poor owner, Wang Difa. They all desperately want Su Ming's vegetables because this food basically cures chronic health issues and gives people absolutely crazy energy levels. Su Ming quickly calls Wang, currently hiding from this wild crowd. Sweating heavily, Wang quickly sneaks Su Ming inside through the back door. He happily pays him 64,000 in cash, desperately begging for more vegetables to sell. But Su Ming plays it brilliant. He explains to Wang that keeping the crop supply super low is exactly what makes rich people go crazy for it. He also tells Wang to send his own truck to the village from now on, suggesting they sell veggies raw in tiny, ridiculously expensive little slices. Wang completely loves the idea, walks out to the rich crowd, and starts a massive bidding war. After dropping that huge cash at the bank, Su Ming stops by the town clinic to visit Lin Zhaoan, a young doctor and a good friend of his. She looks completely exhausted, with massive dark circles under her eyes. While waiting for her to finish up, Su Ming suddenly overhears a pharmacist next door selling wild ginseng for a crazy high price. He quickly realizes that to level up his farm, he must stop growing basic cabbage and start planting those incredibly expensive medical herbs. He leaves the busy clinic for a bit and visits a local seed shop. Trust me on this. He buys premium ginseng seeds anyway, completely ignoring the shop owner who swears they will never grow in normal soil. Let's jump into this wild story together. Back at the clinic, Zhaoan eats lunch, whining that she stayed awake all night decoding his magic veggies. Su Ming just smiles, handing her a special homegrown cucumber. One single bite tastes absolutely mind-blowing. That sweet juice clears her foggy brain instantly. Her face warms up, and all her exhaustion totally vanishes. Su Ming tells her to check the mirror. She looks and lets out a massive, stunned scream. That cucumber completely wiped out her dark circles, leaving her looking unbelievably fresh and totally flawless. Lin Zhaoan, his childhood friend and the local doctor, stares at her reflection, completely speechless. Those dark circles, acne breakouts, and terrible skin issues, totally gone. Her face literally glows, all from eating just one of his special cucumbers. She grabs Su Ming, shouting that women would happily pay a massive fortune for these amazing results. They agree to sell the veggies for a crazy 1,888 yuan each, splitting the cash. Meanwhile, at the local hospital, a giant thug named Iron Tower is covered in thick bandages. He whines to his spoiled boss, Zhao Bin, claiming Su Ming struck him with terrifying, unnatural strength. Zhao Bin's father, a greedy, shady businessman named Zhao Daiqiang, listens very closely. He already knows Su Ming is making crazy money selling healing crops. This greedy old fox figures out the real secret is the land itself. Watch closely now. He tells his son to steal that magical farm using any dirty trick possible. Next morning, While Su Ming and Zhaoan check the crops, a totally corrupt village official named Liu Dafu suddenly shows up alongside Zhao Bin and his guards. Liu Dafu spins a totally fake story about Su Ming growing illegal crops, quickly ordering the whole farm to be shut down. Zhaoan gets furious, pulling out her phone to record everything. Zhao Bin tries snatching it away, but Su Ming steps in lightning fast. He catches Zhao Bin's wrist, snapping it with zero effort. Even after doing that, Su Ming stays absolutely, chillingly calm. He dares Liu Dafu to go ahead and place the official lockdown seal right on the gate. He even smiles, warning them they will absolutely be begging on their knees to take it off later. Liu Dafu just laughs, tapes up the gate, and tells Su Ming he has exactly 3 days to pack and leave. Right after they lock the gate, a super fancy black car speeds right up to the farm. Zhao Bin instantly recognizes those license plates. Realizing they belong to the absolute top city leaders, he starts panicking hard. Wang Difa, a restaurant owner, jumps out looking super stressed. He carefully helps out Old Li, a severely ill but extremely powerful retired legend. Let's pause for a second. Old Li is in massive pain, desperately needing Su Ming's special veggies to survive. But walking right up to the farm, they spot those huge white official seals totally blocking the gates. Old Li gets incredibly furious. Su Ming just sits there munching a cucumber, casually explaining that corrupt officials locked everything down, so he cannot serve them any food. Hearing this nonsense, Wang Difa gets absolutely furious. He aggressively grabs that terrified official Liu Dafu, right by the collar, yanking him up and screaming, demanding to know if he sealed this farm. Wang Difa goes totally berserk, brutally kicking Liu Dafu for messing with Su Ming's property and delaying Old Li's urgent rescue. Zhao Bin, that spoiled rich guy who started all this trouble, panics and immediately orders his guards to rip off that gate seal, but Su Ming firmly stops them. He says since Liu Dafu put that seal there himself, he has to rip it off using only his mouth. Liu Dafu tries backing out, but Wang Difa stomps hard onto his hand. Completely trapped, the crying official bites that glued paper off the wooden fence, leaving his mouth an absolute ruined mess. After 10 agonizing minutes of this, Su Ming finally tells him to get lost. Su Ming then calmly heads into his kitchen to cook. He gathers his special well water, some magical cabbage, a spirit tomato, and a few drops of secret water from his system. Soon, an unbelievably amazing aroma totally fills the area, making absolutely everyone super hungry. He brings out a steaming bowl of hot pink food for Old Li. Wang Difa gently, carefully feeds it straight to the fading old man. The absolute second that food goes down, Old Li's healthy color returns. He aggressively grabs the bowl, chugs it all, and exhales a seriously foul-smelling dark breath. Absolutely shocking everyone, the weak old man stands up all by himself, feeling completely healthy and totally full of energy. Realizing Su Ming is no ordinary farmer, Old Li deeply thanks him. Su Ming casually drops that his village has terrible roads and awful power, heavily hinting that if people keep harassing him, his magical plants might completely wither away. Old Li catches that message right away. He furiously scolds the town mayor, explicitly ordering him to fix those roads and power within exactly 3 days. He also commands his men to investigate Zhao Bin and Liu Dafu, pretty much completely destroying their privileged lives. Wang Difa hands Su Ming an exclusive black gold card for future favors before their group drives off. Inside the car, the guard claims Su Ming is just some normal college student. Old Li just laughs. Listen to this. He stares at a dark mark on his hand, explaining he was struck by an impossibly dangerous venom from a shadowy group. The absolute best doctors failed, but Su Ming's magic food cured him instantly. Knowing Su Ming hides a massive secret, Old Li orders his men to classify his file absolute top secret. Alright, stick with me. Everyone in the village is completely terrified of Su Ming now. His childhood friend, Lin Ziyo-wen, a clinic worker, tells him she must return to her job. Su Ming casually picks some of his new magical cucumbers, handing them over. He tells her to hand them as free samples to rich friends, promising they make skin look totally amazing. He confidently tells her to quit that boring job and work for him, claiming his magical farm is going to become absolutely huge. Ziyo-wen smiles, promises to think about it, and rides away. Enjoying the peace, Su Ming gets back to farming. He plants basic medicine to see if the magical dirt changes it, then checks a special batch of corn he planted earlier. These stalks are pitch black, and the corn feels rock hard, gleaming like solid gold. The system alerts him. This special item permanently makes a person's bones and muscles incredibly strong. Knowing dangerous guys like Old Lee are out there, Summing decides he needs serious power. He snaps off some golden corn and boils it. While waiting for it to cook, Summing suddenly hears a massive racket from the village entrance. Glancing from his balcony, he spots a huge crew of bulldozers and construction workers rolling in. The mayor is already there, holding road plans, keeping his strict promise to fix that dirt path immediately. Sweating and shouting loudly, the town mayor aggressively rushes his men to pave a new road. Right outside Suming's house, the entire village watches in pure shock as the road is completely finished overnight. Looking outside, Summing knows this crazy VIP treatment is only happening because he has a powerful backer named Old Lee supporting him. But he knows true power must come from within. He hits the kitchen, eating the special golden corn he grew. Now watch closely. Swallowing it feels like pure fire hitting his stomach. Instantly, his bones pop and his muscles absolutely erupt. Chowing down 3 more, he gains a crazy 8-pack and insane strength. Even Big Yellow, his loyal dog, begs for a bite. Summing tosses him one, and the loyal dog instantly grows bigger and stronger. Then, Summing checks his magical farming system. It reveals he requires monster meat to upgrade his farm to the next level. Glancing at the deep mountains, he remembers old village rumors about a giant, terrifying beast, easily crushing solid rock into dust with just one hand. He decides it is finally time to go on a hunt. Suddenly, a black SUV pulls up. It is Zhao Daikyang, a wealthy local bully whose son messed with Summing previously. Fearing Old Lee, Zhao brings expensive gifts and cash to apologize. Summing just stares coldly, tells him to scram, and slams the door. Furious and humiliated, Zhao drives away. Later, police arrest Zhao's corrupt buddies and completely shut down his businesses. Back at their huge mansion, Zhao and his son panic. But when his son mentions Summing saved Old Lee with a simple bowl of magic porridge, Zhao's intense fear suddenly transforms into serious greed. He realizes Suming's farm is a literal gold mine. Thinking he's just a weak kid, Zhao makes a dark plan to crush him and steal absolutely everything. That evening, Summing is snacking on more golden corn to boost his stats, when his grandpa and Lin, Zhao En, the local doctor, suddenly walk inside. He happily shares the golden corn. Instantly, Grandpa's chronic back pain completely vanishes, and Zhao En feels a massive surge of super energy. We both saw this coming. Between magic porridge, beauty cucumbers, and super corn, Xiao Wen officially decides. She tells Suming she's quitting the hospital to work full-time. He smiles, warmly welcoming his new manager. The very next morning, Xiao Wen's phone absolutely explodes with messages. Her wealthy city friends use those magic cucumbers and their wrinkles are completely gone. Before 9 a.m., 3 fancy cars arrive. Flashy, wealthy women rush the yard, literally fighting and throwing cash to buy all his cucumbers. Big Yellow growls, scaring the women into behaving. Xiao Wen steps up, announcing they can only buy 1 cucumber each for 2,000 bucks. To make things even more insane, Su Ming smoothly adds that for future purchases, they must pay a 50,000 entry fee just to become an official member. The wealthy women stand there, completely shocked, but totally hooked. Su Ming and Lin Xiao Wen just made an absolute fortune selling special cucumbers to these elites. Xiao Wen is totally stunned seeing the massive cash balance on her phone. Su Ming tells her to keep the funds for business growth, making her head manager. He says to use this massive win to finally quit the hospital. She smiles, joking she will keep his future marriage fund perfectly safe. Inviting him to her parents' house for dinner, she walks away incredibly happy. Back home, Su Ming discovers a mess of animal tracks near his farm. He figures the magical energy from his crops is drawing wild animals. Big Yellow stays to guard. Summing grabs a hoe entering the woods. Boom, a massive boar charges. Trust me, you and I need to see what's next. Let's jump right into the action. Su Ming doesn't flinch. He easily dodges, casually smashing the boar's head into the dirt with his hoe. Absolutely thrilled by his newfound immense strength, he easily drags the massive pig back home like a lightweight bag. His grandpa is completely stunned by this, but quickly hands Su Ming an incredibly expensive vintage wine. He tells Su Ming to bring the fresh meat and veggies to Xiao Wen's place to impress her snobby parents. Arriving there, her mom opens the heavy door, wearing a face mask. She instantly glares at Su Ming's muddy bags and starts talking down to him, mocking why a smart college kid is wasting his entire life farming. Inside, Zhaoan's dad is watching TV and completely ignores him. The arrogant mom even brings up a wealthy guy who desperately wants to buy Zhaoan an apartment. Zhaoan gets absolutely furious, but Su Ming simply smiles, calmly takes her apron, and steps into the kitchen. Using his secret spring water, he masterfully cooks the wild boar and his special magical cabbage. The mouth-watering aroma coming from the kitchen is so incredible that her parents completely forget their previous rude conversation. When Su Ming brings the food out, they start eating like maniacs. Miraculously, this magic food instantly cures the mom's terrible stomach and the dad's incredibly painful knees. The mom checks the mirror and screams happily because her deep wrinkles completely vanished, making her look literally years younger. Right after, Zhaoan proudly shows them the insane amount of money they made selling cucumbers in just one morning. The stunned parents completely flip. The mom immediately treats Su Ming like absolute royalty, fully supporting Zhaoan quitting her office job to farm. While they chat, the TV news issues a serious warning about an incredibly dangerous underground fighter named Iron Mountain. Spotting the guy's picture, Su Ming instantly gets a terrible feeling and rushes straight home. At that exact same time, a local greedy boss named Zhao Daking and his son sneak right up to Su Ming's house to steal his valuable land deed. They actually brought the dangerous Iron Mountain with them. A thug kicks the heavy gate open, but Big Yellow is waiting. The furious dog goes absolutely wild, aggressively biting the thug's wrist and breaking his bones instantly. 3 more goons try jumping the loyal dog, but Big Yellow moves like pure lightning, biting and easily taking them all down. He takes a few heavy hits, yet stands tall despite severe injuries. Pay attention here. Seeing this, Iron Mountain steps forward with a creepy smile, expecting a really fun fight. Big Yellow senses immense danger and bravely tries attacking Taishan, the tough underground boxer, but Taishan is just way too fast. He mercilessly beats the brave dog, brutally sending him crashing right into a heavy wooden door. When Taishan cruelly threatens to cook him, Old Man Su charges out with a stick. Taishan easily drops the grandpa. Zhao Daking, the insanely greedy boss desperately trying to steal their land, cruelly steps right onto the old man's fragile hand. Just as Taishan goes to shatter the old man's leg, Su Ming finally shows up. Completely ignoring the thugs, he gently helps his grandpa up and pets his badly injured dog. Furious at being ignored, Taishan throws his absolute hardest punch straight at Su Ming's face. Su Ming doesn't even flinch. I know what you're thinking. Game over? Hardly. He easily catches the fist, crushes Taishan's hand, and shatters his leg with one simple chop. 3 more goons charge in with bats. Moving with incredible speed, Su Ming grabs them one by one, literally planting them headfirst deep into the soft dirt of his vegetable garden. Witnessing this absolute madness, Zhao Daking's terrified son, Zhao Bin, falls begging for any mercy. Suddenly, Zhao Daking yanks out a hidden shotgun, firing straight at Su Ming. Before bullets connect, Big Yellow heroically leaps in the way, taking the massive blast and collapsing with grave, heavy injuries. Boiling with rage now, Su Ming flicks a small rock, completely shattering Zhao Daking's arm and making him drop the gun. Su Ming grabs the heavy boss by his neck, effortlessly lifting him off the ground. After tossing him aside, Su Ming casually stomps on both Zhao Bin's and Zhao Daking's knees, completely shattering them forever. Those two are stuck in wheelchairs for life. Soon after, police cars finally pull up. Director Lei, the local police chief, rushes in alongside his SWAT team. He is totally shocked seeing dangerous thugs planted like carrots and the local greedy boss is left, totally broken. However, knowing Su Ming is highly valued by his superiors, Director Lei quickly plays along, calling it pure self-defense and instantly arresting the bad guys. While cops secure the yard, Su Ming gently carries his gravely injured dog to a special farming field. He gently feeds Big Yellow magic water and special medicinal plants. In seconds, the dog fully heals, grows noticeably larger, and opens its eyes, revealing intensely glowing golden pupils. When Su Ming walks back out, a SWAT officer brings in a massive top-tier police dog to search the yard. But the moment this fierce dog gets close, The newly evolved Big Yellow just gives it one terrifying look. The incredibly tough police dog gets so utterly terrified that it instantly drops to its knees, shaking like a leaf. Director Lei is left staring in shock, completely baffled how a simple farm dog could terrify his champion police hound. Trust me on this. Director Lei desperately tried buying Big Yellow for the police force, but Su Ming flat out said no, making it clear the dog was strictly family. When Lei stubbornly tried petting him anyway, Big Yellow silently bared his razor-sharp teeth, scaring the absolute life right out of the foolish director. After the police finally packed up and left, the village went totally, perfectly quiet. Stick with me, we are about to watch something insane. Grandpa was still shaking. Summing quickly calmed him, promising those local bullies were completely finished. Nobody would ever dare mess with their family again. Once Grandpa was asleep, Summing walked straight out to the backyard dirt field and buried a wild boar leg. Instantly, the dirt beat like a heart. A system screen popped up, showing a 1-hour countdown for meat conversion. Come morning, the whole village was avoiding Summing's house. That crazy shootout from last night totally terrified them. Summing checked the yard. The buried meat, completely gone. But the system gave him barely any points. He needed way better drops to level up this dirt. Suddenly, the front gate crashed open. It was Lin Zhaoan, girl he worked with. She was an absolute mess, missing a shoe. Hearing rumors about the gunfight, she sprinted all the way there in pure panic. Crying hard, she crashed straight into Summing, frantically checking his body for bullet holes. Summing just held her hands. He joked those guys had awful aim, promising he was completely fine. Right then, Zhaoan spotted Big Yellow. Thanks to that special dirt, the dog had grown overnight, looking like a massive golden lion. Summing casually sent the giant beast to fetch her missing shoe. When the dog returned it, Summing bent down, gently wiped the mud off her foot, and put the shoe back on. She blushed super hard. He told her to wash up. He was taking her to the city to spend some serious cash. Before leaving, Summing gave Big Yellow a cold order. If anyone else steps inside, bury them as fertilizer. The beast scraped the dirt, totally understanding. Later, at a fancy mall, Summing wore cheap clothes, making Zhaoan feel super awkward. Inside a high-end shop, a snobby saleswoman completely looked down on them, snapping at them not to touch the suits. Summing did not even waste time arguing. He just pointed at premium outfits, asked for his size, and slammed a pure black card on the counter. Panicking instantly, the saleswoman bowed, suddenly treating them like absolute royalty. While staff rushed to pack clothes, Su Ming hit a jewelry store next door, buying an expensive platinum necklace. He stepped behind Zhaoan, smoothly locking it around her neck. Freaking out over the crazy price, she tried taking it off, but Su Ming held her hands. She deserved it for running over barefoot just to ensure he was safe. Hearing that, she stopped fighting and smiled. At sunset, they hit up a rough outdoor survival store. Now pay attention here. The vibe flips completely. He starts ordering hardcore gear, a bone-breaking steel shovel, thick ropes, and sharp combat knives. The tough store owner instantly knew Su Ming meant serious business. Meanwhile, Zhaoan just stood there, completely confused about what he was preparing for. Su Ming and Zhaoan, a doctor who helps him, stand there buying these heavy-duty knives and hardcore medical kits. Su Ming smoothly lies to the bald owner, claiming the knives are just for tough farm roots and wild boars. After paying, he takes Zhaoan to a super expensive revolving restaurant right at the top of a fancy hotel. She is totally shocked since meals cost 1,500 yuan. But Su Ming just smiles, ordering their best Wellington steak. When food arrives, Lin loves it, but Su Ming takes one bite. Total trash compared to his farm's magic food. You see this tension, right? Looking dead serious, he warns his farm brings massive money, but also insane danger. He asks if she is brave enough to stay. Lin downs her wine, grabs his hand, and says she fears nothing. She agrees to be his official farmhouse keeper. After dinner, they stroll past a street market loaded with fake antiques. Suddenly, his hidden system flags nearby magic energy. He spots a dirty, broken piece of jade at an old stall. Playing it totally smart, he pretends to argue over a fake burner, paying 200 yuan, but asks for the useless broken jade free. Lin thinks he got scammed. He knows it is the real prize. Walking her home, things get a little shy between them. Out of nowhere, Lin quickly kisses his cheek, thanks him, and runs inside like a scared rabbit. Su Ming just smiles, heading back. Back home, Su Ming buries the magic jade in his special farming field. The system flashes, but nothing happens. Checking his stats, he realizes he needs high-level monster meat to actually upgrade this land. He decides it is time to hunt the deep mountain. So what do we learn here? Next morning, cops confirm those bullies are locked up forever. Su Ming is totally untouchable now. Let's dive right in. After breakfast, Lin Ziyuan arrives, looking like a true boss in her sleek coat and glasses. Her goal? Taking over the Zhao family's empty land to grow even more magic veggies. Su Ming totally agrees to grab the land, but he reveals a secret plan for it. Far beyond regular farming, he offers her half their future profits, teasing that it is her salary for being the boss's wife, making her blush completely red. Then, Su Ming suits up in his outdoor gear, grabs his unbreakable black magic hoe, and calls out to Big Yellow. The dog instantly switches into serious hunting mode. Su Ming tells his grandpa he is only picking herbs, then heads straight into the deep, mysterious part of the mountain. The deeper he goes, the darker and quieter the forest gets. Even though the place smells like danger and fallen leaves, Su Ming does not feel scared at all. He just steps lightly onto a wet rock, completely ready for whatever is hiding inside. Su Ming's body had gone through a massive upgrade. He effortlessly ran up a steep slope like a lizard, without even breaking a sweat. His loyal dog, Big Yellow, suddenly growled at a bush. A dangerous snake shot out, aiming right for Su Ming's leg. For a normal guy, it would be game over. But Su Ming just casually pinched the snake mid-air with 2 fingers, stopping it instantly. He tossed it to Big Yellow, but the dog just kicked it away, way too spoiled by good food to even care. Moving deeper into the woods, Big Yellow sniffed out a hidden wild ginseng plant. Su Ming dug up the rare root and saved it. Watch closely now. Suddenly, the forest went totally quiet. A clouded leopard dropped from above, aiming right for Su Ming's neck. He quickly took a half step back and slammed his elbow into the big cat mid-air. The hit nearly shattered all its ribs. The leopard crashed into a tree, got up in pure panic, and ran away fast. Soon, the air started smelling like rotten fish and sulfur. They found massive footprints completely crushed into the dirt. Big Yellow was shaking with fear, but Su Ming was just getting excited. In a clearing, a pack of huge wild boars was busy eating. Su Ming walked right up to them with his rusty hoe. The absolute biggest boar rushed him like a massive truck. Su Ming just stepped aside and smacked it on the back of the head with his hoe, knocking it out cold. Then, he picked up some small rocks and flicked them super fast, striking the rest of the boars directly in the ears. In less than a minute, the entire pack was totally down on the ground. Su Ming thought it was way too easy, but then the ground started shaking. Trees snapped in half as a giant tank-sized mutant boar walked out. This beast was covered in thick mud, armor, mixed with old traps and broken weapons. A system screen popped up in Su Ming's mind, warning him this was a high-level monster packed with crazy energy. Instead of panicking, Su Ming just smiled. Seeing this as premium rewards delivered directly to his front door, the giant boss boar bit into one of the fallen pigs, crunching its bones just to show off. Big Yellow bravely ran up and bit the monster's leg, but that mud armor was way too thick. The giant boar simply kicked backward, sending the poor dog flying right into a tree. Seeing his dog get hurt, Su Ming got absolutely furious. The giant beast charged straight at him, crushing small trees along the way. Surprisingly, Su Ming didn't even dodge. He wanted to test his new limits. He gripped his hoe with both hands and took the hit head-on. The crash sounded exactly like 2 thick pieces of metal smashing together, sending a heavy shockwave straight through Su Ming's arms and chest. Su Ming slid backward, his feet digging incredibly deep into the dirt until his back finally hit a pine tree. "You and I saw that, right?" He just smiled. His body took the heavy hit without breaking, proving his new strength was way past normal human limits. He looked down at the hoe in his hand. Thanks to the amazing system, the tool did not have a single scratch on it. Across from him, the giant wild boar king shook its huge head, completely confused and furious that a normal guy survived its attack. The beast turned bright red, its muscles popping, and rushed at him even faster. Su Ming just kept smiling. He jumped out of the way, letting the huge beast crash right into the tree. He swung his hoe hard at its side, but sparks suddenly flew everywhere. That beast's skin was simply too thick to even cut. Su Ming kept moving through the trees, letting the giant boar wear itself out by smashing into everything. He knew he really needed a weak spot. The eyes were too small, and the body was too tough. Then he saw the big pink ears. The boar charged again like a massive truck. Su Ming waited until the very last second, twisted his body to dodge the sharp tusks, and did something absolutely crazy. He dropped his hoe and jumped right onto the boar's back. The beast went entirely wild, jumping and trying to smash him against a tree to force him off. Su Ming held on tight, pulled out his hunting knife, and slid right down near its head. With all his strength, he jammed the knife straight into the boar's pink ear. The monster screamed loudly, lost its balance, and crashed headfirst into a giant rock. It twitched a few times and finally went down for good. Su Ming sat there, breathing hard but feeling amazing. What a wild ride. No longer a tired worker, he is the mountain boss now. Let us jump right into this wild story. He checks on his dog, Big Yellow, hiding near a tree, thankfully left with just a bruised leg. Su Ming happily pats the dog and admires his epic prize. The massive boar weighs over 1,000 pounds, sporting giant tusks. Suddenly, a glowing system screen pops up, revealing the meat is packed with spiritual energy, guaranteed to make him incredibly strong. Instead of selling it, he decides to bring it home for a huge feast. He chops down small trees, ties them with vines to build a sturdy sled, and rolls the giant beast onto it. Using his absolutely insane new strength, he grabs the ropes and starts dragging the massive beast down the mountain, with Big Yellow limping proudly behind him. As the sun finally sets, the incredibly loud sound of the heavy sled scraping against the dirt echoes throughout the entire village. The local ladies gossiping under a massive tree immediately freeze up when they feel the ground shaking. First, they watch Big Yellow strutting in like a total boss. Then Su Ming steps straight out of the shadows, shirtless, completely covered in sweat and intense battle grime. Right behind him, he casually drags the defeated wild boar king, plus a few smaller pigs stacked right on top. Now watch closely. The whole village goes totally quiet. People are terrified. Those local bullies who always tormented him hide in bushes, shaking with pure fear. They suddenly realize that if he can smash through a monster pig, he could easily destroy them in seconds. Su Ming does not even care about the stairs. He just keeps walking, casually telling the terrified ladies about his big catch in the mountains, and continues pulling the sled. Meanwhile, back at his house, Old Man Su and Sweet Lin Jiaoan are sitting in the yard, anxiously wondering where he could be. Suddenly, the ground rumbles. Big Yellow runs inside, barking happily, and Su Ming appears at the door. Though he is completely covered in sweat and dirt, he flashes them an absolutely huge, bright smile. Su Ming drags a totally massive wild boar back home, and the beast is so huge, it gets stuck right inside the front gate. Grandpa Su, moving way too fast for his 70 years, and pretty Lin Jiaoan just stare at this ridiculous beast in a state of absolute shock. Su Ming dusts himself off, looking incredibly strong, making Sweet Jiaoan blush just a little. Right then, a blue system screen pops up offering to absorb the high-tier meat, but Su Ming quietly dismisses it. He wants a massive feast first. While chopping up the giant beast, Su Ming moves with insane speed, secretly hiding premium parts like the heart, brain, and spine inside a bucket. When Jiaoan asks about it, he smoothly lies, claiming it is just toxic trash meant for the compost. Soon, the entire village gathers around because they smell the raw meat. Su Ming decides to give 5 pounds of meat to every family, but he totally plays favorites based on past treatment. He gladly gives a huge, perfect cut to a really kind, disabled man who always gets bullied around town. But when Aunt Wang, that loud village gossip who constantly talks trash about him, tries snatching the absolute best piece, Su Ming fiercely slams his heavy knife down, nearly slicing her sleeve. He just tosses her the absolute grossest, chewy leftovers instead. The whole crowd laughs as she runs away, totally embarrassed. That night, Su Ming cooks all the good meat for dinner. It is not just tasty, it is pure magic. After eating, Grandpa Su feels so full of crazy energy that he starts doing martial arts outside, and Jiaoan happily notices her skin is suddenly incredibly smooth and glowing. Su Ming just casually plays it off, claiming the wild boar ate lots of healthy herbs. I know exactly what you are thinking. Late at night, our boy sneaks that hidden bucket to his secret mountain farm, burying those premium parts deep in the magical dirt. Suddenly, the ground starts bubbling, making weird cracking noises like it is literally eating the solid bones. After a few hours, the entire farm magically levels up. The dirt turns dark red, the space expands massively, and a glowing old stone well pops up right in the middle. This magical well is full of glowing water designed to purify the body. Su Ming scoops some up and immediately drinks it. Instantly, his stomach feels like it is on pure fire and his bones start popping loudly. The pain is absolutely crazy, but ends fast. Looking down, his skin is covered in smelly black dirt, representing all the bad stuff leaving his purified body. Wiping it off reveals tough, insanely healthy skin. He clenches his fist, feeling completely weightless and super strong. With his hearing and sight totally leveled up, smiling brightly, he walks over to check on his newly planted tomato seeds. Su Ming drops some magic spring water onto a dying tomato plant. Right away, the plant grows incredibly fast, making fruit in just 1 minute. A system message pops up saying he can plant anything now. This gives him a totally wild idea. He sprints to his grandpa's old attic, finding a beat-up medical book that the old man used to treat like an absolute treasure. Rushing back to his magic dirt field, he buries it and pours the glowing water on top. The book literally melts into the dirt, sprouting a shiny jade-like plant. After he adds more water, it turns into a small tree featuring leaves entirely covered in tiny words. Finally, it grows a very weird fruit that looks exactly like a tiny brain. The system warns it gives special knowledge, but tastes super bitter and exhausts the mind. He eats it anyway, passing out instantly. Trust me, you and I are going to love what happens next. Alright, stick with me. He wakes up in a blank white room. A blurry old man suddenly appears, showing off a special medical needle trick. The system tells Su Ming to practice this move perfectly 100,000 times. Every single mistake brings a terrible shock of pain. It hurts like crazy at first, but after 50,000 tries, he finally figures out the old man's hidden breathing trick. Suddenly, that heavy needle feels light. He works like a machine until hitting the 100,000 mark. Perfectly. The old man nods, turns into pure light, and rushes right into Su Ming's head, filling his brain with years of epic medical skills. Su Ming suddenly wakes up in his field. Only 1 hour passed outside, but to him, felt like 10 whole years. His head is spinning, yet his hands move totally on their own, pressing the exact right spots to stop all the pain. He realizes there is a little bit of real energy flowing inside his body now. Testing it out, he grabs a dry piece of grass and shoots it from his fingers. It completely sticks right into a tree like a bullet. He looks at his dog, Big Yellow, instantly seeing all the hidden health issues. Then, the system officially tells him he has mastered all the skills. Right then, an insane hunger hits him. He sprints straight home, instantly stuffing cold wild boar meat into his mouth like a totally starving guy. Su Ming finishes a massive meal to settle his empty stomach, heading straight to the back mountain. He sits down by the newly transformed red soil to meditate and build up his energy. Soon, his grandpa spots the weird red dirt and completely freaks out. But Su Ming just laughs it off, claiming he dug it up himself. Right then, Lin Yo Wen, young village doctor, casually rolls up on her bike with breakfast. Now, pay attention, everything changes here. Before she can question the strange soil, a loud scream echoes. Someone is collapsing. They rush over, finding Grandpa Liu on the ground, shaking badly from a sudden internal head crisis. Zio Wen says it is hopeless with the hospital 2 hours away, but Su Ming steps right up. Using his special sight, he spots a block right in the old man's head. Since he lacks real medical tools, he just grabs some sharp thorns from a nearby tree. Zio Wen tries to stop him, but Su Ming quickly sticks those thorns into the old man's head, pushing his own pure energy right through them. The thorns actually start smoking. A minute later, Grandpa Liu spits out some dark fluid and wakes up completely fine. The villagers are totally shocked, but Su Ming just lies, saying he learned it from a cheap old book. Nearby, a rich sick girl named Kenyuru is watching from a fancy car. Seeing Su Ming's totally crazy skills, she tells her big, bald bodyguard, Along, to bring him over. Along rudely orders Su Ming to get in the car, but Su Ming completely ignores him. Getting mad, the bodyguard tries to grab him, but Su Ming casually slaps his hand away, sending a powerful shock that makes the huge guy stumble back in pain. Seeing her guard fail, Kenyuru steps out, apologizes, and offers Su Ming a massive check for 100,000 bucks just to treat her. Su Ming does not care about the money at all. He tells her he is just a farmer, treating people only if he feels like it, then casually walks back to eat his breakfast. While Su Ming is eating his porridge inside, things suddenly go wrong outside. You and I both know this gets crazy. Kin Yuru suddenly falls. The yard turns freezing cold, and frost completely covers her body. Hearing the sudden panic, Su Ming realizes her rare cold sickness just acted up. Outside, Along tries helping his boss up, but the second he touches her, his fingers get frozen a deep, dark purple. Seeing that she is turning into a human freezer, and might freeze completely at his door, Su Ming sighs, tells Xiao to get a room ready, and steps out to handle the mess. Along and the doctor girl Lin Xiao are absolutely freaking out. The rich girl, Kinuru, is basically turning into a solid human ice block. Xiao has never seen anything like this in her entire medical career, but Su Ming just calmly eats his porridge. Using his special vision, he clearly sees that the energy inside Yuru is completely frozen. He bluntly tells them an ambulance will not make it. Along, usually a super tough bodyguard, realizes Su Ming is the real deal. He drops to his knees, desperately begging him to save his boss, and Su Ming decides to help. He tells his grandpa to burn some specific herbs and brings out a bowl of super rare magical spring water. He makes Along carefully force feed it to Yuru. That magic water completely fights the deadly cold inside her body. She wakes up screaming, and Su Ming quickly hits key pressure spots on her back. She spits out freezing dark fluid that literally cracks the solid stone floor like liquid nitrogen. Just like that, Yuru is saved. Her body finally feels warm after 20 years of being sick, leaving Xiao completely and utterly shocked. So, Su Ming just lies, saying the water is exactly some rare natural stuff pulled from their old well. Yuru is super grateful, offering Su Ming half of her family's massive wealth if he goes to the city to save her sick grandpa, but Su Ming just casually laughs it off. He says he is just a farmer, and if they really want his help, they have to bring the sick guy straight to him. Yuru gives him a black gold card with $1,000,000. That is where we leave it wild, right? Stick with me. Su Ming plays it cool because his magic water is absolutely priceless. Before she heads out, he casually tosses her magic cabbages and tomatoes, telling her to make Grandpa super soup to keep him kicking until they finally bring him over. Once they leave, Su Ming drops the $1,000,000 on his grandpa, who nearly falls out of his chair in pure shock. Now, Su Ming is totally hyped to rent the back mountain to farm more magic plants. Meanwhile, in the massive city, wealthy villain Wen Jianjin gets awful news. His local street thug just got locked up because some super powerful big shot was actively protecting Su Ming. But honestly, Wen does not care about that thug. Reading a report about Su Ming curing sick patients, he realizes this kid is definitely hiding some incredibly broken secret formula or magic medicine. Dreaming of all that massive profit, Wen instantly deploys his absolute best cleaner, a super sneaky pro named Old Ghost, straight to the farm. The sneaky goal is grabbing magic dirt or rare plants unseen. Back home, Su Ming violently sneezes, completely clueless that big villains are actively plotting his downfall. He casually asks Zhao Wen to help him quickly rent that empty mountain so he can finally kick off his epic farming master plan. Lin Zhao Wen, the girl who always has his back, immediately rushes to the village office to secure that plot of land for him. Su Ming smiles and heads out back, grabbing a hoe, fresh seeds, and that completely withered wild ginseng he found earlier. Channeling his newly unlocked inner energy, he effortlessly digs the soil. He plants the ginseng, soaking it generously with his magic spring water. Instantly, the fading plant revives, leveling up into a 70-year-old magic item that can actually save a person's life. Checking his other crops, he sees they have all transformed into insane super herbs that can heal shattered bones or massively boost power. He then tosses down regular veggie seeds, and in literally minutes, they explode into a perfectly lush, vibrant green garden. Later that evening, Zhao Wen returns with amazing news. The village actually agreed to rent him the mountain for 20,000 a year. Su Ming knows this is an absolute steal. She is super worried about him handling that heavy manual labor, but he just smiles, hiding a totally broken secret plan. That night, Su Ming checks his glowing magic garden and realizes one massive problem. Now watch closely here. Rare plants definitely attract villains, and a simple farming tool simply will not protect him. He desperately needs combat skills. Lacking any actual martial arts manuals, a completely insane Wild idea suddenly pops into his head. He decides to fake one entirely and see if his magic dirt makes it real. Sprinting to his room, he grabs an old 3rd grade math notebook and literally crosses out the cover title. He scribbles down the name of a legendary TV technique, the 18 subduing dragon palm. For an hour, he invents random moves, wildly mixing TV action with basic school stretches. He even doodles a goofy worm with tiny legs, labeling it a golden dragon. Then, he brings this hilarious notebook to the yard while his dog, Big Yellow, snoozes nearby. Su Ming digs a hole right in the magic dirt, drops the goofy notebook inside, and pours his magic spring water all over it. Surprisingly, the paper does not melt. Instead, it drinks the water and begins glowing. A system screen flashes, totally roasting his embarrassing fake moves, but promises to try making the book real anyway. To finish this crazy upgrade, it demands all his inner energy. Su Ming slaps his hand onto the dirt, pushing his energy out. The ground instantly starts draining his power so aggressively that he quickly feels completely empty and weak. Suddenly, a heavy, epic dragon roar echoes straight inside his head. It sounds so terrifying that Big Yellow wakes up whining and immediately flattens onto the ground. Right as Su Ming is about to literally pass out from exhaustion, the draining halts. A thin golden light shoots straight from the dirt into the sky. The wind abruptly stops, and absolutely everything goes dead quiet. You felt that too, right? He falls back onto the ground, heavily sweating and totally exhausted, but grinning widely because his wild plan actually worked. Out of nowhere, a chaotic storm hits the backyard. His farming system flashes a red warning demanding energy, brutally sucking the life straight out of his rare ginseng and precious berry plants. To stop this, Su Ming sprints to the well, desperately pouring buckets of his special magic water directly onto the glowing dirt mound. After 10 minutes of exhausting labor, a bizarre golden plant pops out. It literally looks exactly like that ridiculous earthworm he doodled. The system alerts him it is actually a dragon fruit tree demanding tons of magic water or raw meat to grow. Since it is super hungry, Su Ming quickly buries a bunch of wild boar meat right next to it to keep it satisfied. Meanwhile, that elite spy named Old Gi from the rival Wen family is creeping around outside. He uses a high-tech thermal camera to scan Su Ming's house, but checking the monitor, he is instantly frozen in absolute terror. The yard, Su Ming, and even Big Yellow are glowing like a raging furnace on the screen, blindingly brighter than any normal humans ever should. Big Yellow growls at the darkness, and Old Gi instantly flees in absolute terror. Su Ming totally senses the spy, but casually lets him escape, joking to Big Yellow that they will strictly use the guy as premium plant fertilizer if he returns. By the very next morning, the golden plant has grown slightly, but completely ate up all the yard's energy again. Su Ming gives it more magic water, and finally realizes his small yard is simply not big enough. So trust me, we will watch him claim that massive empty mountain next. Let's dive right in. After cooking an epic magic radish breakfast for Grandpa and his sweet housemate Zhao An, our guy heads straight over to the local village office today. Inside, the local guys and this huge bully named Wang Er start roasting Su Ming just for wanting to rent a completely useless mountain. They totally think he is broke and crazy, but Su Ming just ignores their jokes, slamming down a bank card, offering 1 million in cold cash right here, right now. The whole room goes silent. Those greedy leaders instantly change their tune, happily signing the paperwork. Boom. The second this deal finishes, Su Ming's awesome system completely levels up. He unlocks an insane new skill, letting him feel and perfectly track absolutely everything moving on his new mountain. Zhao An is completely blown away by his cool and confident energy. Instead of rushing straight to explore his new mountain, Su Ming heads home to brew an epic soup using his absolute best magic plants and special water to keep farming in absolute peace. He knows his family must grow strong enough to face any incoming trouble. So, Su Ming hands his grandpa a glowing bowl of that special purple soup. The old man chugs it down, instantly feeling a crazy heat burning deep inside. Su Ming quickly taps his back, helping his frail body process that wild energy. Very soon, thick, black sweat, completely packed with nasty dirt and toxins, pours right out of the old man's skin. Just 10 minutes later, Grandpa unleashes a massive shout. Wrinkles magically fade. Feeling super light, he casually kicks a heavy stone mill straight across the yard. Feeling exactly 18 again, he excitedly starts doing flawless, perfect martial arts moves. Just then, pretty local girl Lin Jiaoan walks right in, dropping all her groceries in pure shock. Seeing grandpa's wild energy, she desperately wants to try the soup too. Su Ming jokes it is a beauty drink, so she blindly chugs it down instantly. Almost instantly, her stomach makes a massive noise, and she sprints directly into the bathroom to detox. Half an hour later she returns, looking totally flawless, boasting glowing skin and incredibly shiny hair. She is super happy, getting shy and happily slapping Su Ming's hand away as he teases her. Su Ming gives his leftover soup to his dog, Big Yellow. The pup licks it completely clean, then sleeps all day long. Right at sunset, the dog undergoes an absolutely crazy change. Its old fur completely falls out, replaced by a smooth golden coat. He grows massively bigger, packs on huge muscles, looking much more like a dangerous wild wolf than a farm dog. Su Ming tests him out by pointing at a stray cat on the high wall. In a flash, Big Yellow leaps up, catches it so gently, dropping it without causing any harm. He is incredibly fast, strong, and perfectly obedient. Now pay attention. Meanwhile, in the city, rich boss Wen Jianjun stares at a heat map of Su Ming's village. He quickly notices Su Ming's house glowing bright red on screen. Convinced the kid hides some secret treasure, he commands his sneaky scout, Old Ghost, to go steal some soil. He also orders a dangerous assassin squad to get ready and totally take out Su Ming's entire family. Later that night, Old Ghost sneaks into Su Ming's yard. He fires a sleeping dart right into the doghouse, thinking he defeated the dog. But glancing up, Big Yellow is already standing on the wall, staring down at him like he is totally stupid. Old Ghost desperately tries shooting again, but the massive dog moves in a blur, snapping his wrist. Absolutely terrified, the scout frantically tries jumping over the tall wall to run far away. Big Yellow just easily swats him straight out of the air like a fly, pinning him down hard. Su Ming jumps down from the roof, eating peanuts, praising his amazing dog. Old Ghost attempts making one last desperate run for it, but the dog literally delivers a mid-air roundhouse kick to his face, knocks him out cold, and then pees on him. Grandpa wakes up from all the noise, but Su Ming just lies, saying Big Yellow caught a huge mouse. Once Grandpa safely goes back to sleep, Old Ghost tries using his boss's name to really scare Su Ming. Su Ming just laughs right at him, pulls out his phone, calling the cops. Soon, police cars roll right up to the house. The lead officer steps out, looking completely confused at the absolutely crazy mess in the yard. You see that? Su Ming casually stood in his courtyard with his massive yellow dog, staring at the hitman. Old Ghost beaten up on the ground. Meanwhile, back in the city, Wen Jiangjun was absolutely furious. He bosses the shady Wen family, a notorious group known for doing terrible things. Hearing his hitman got perfectly caught by the cops made him realize Su Ming was definitely not just a normal farmer. Furious, he quickly ordered his special combat team to gather intel, attacking Su Ming the very next day. Later on, Su Ming got a call from Old Li, a wealthy man he saved previously. Old Li seriously warned him that the Wen family was truly dangerous. He explained there is a whole secret world of martial arts experts, and the Wen family boss is absolutely crazy, never, ever letting go of any grudge. Old Li even guessed Su Ming might be a martial artist too, but Su Ming naturally just played entirely dumb. So what do we learn here? Even with insane super strength, Su Ming realized he still feared guns and dirty tricks. Come along with me. To fiercely protect his beloved family, he instantly ran up the mysterious mountain where he secretly grew his very special plants. His magical dragon fruit tree was glowing brightly, pulsing like a living thing. Out of time, he poured all his mystical spring water over it. In a flash, the tree sprouted a glowing golden fruit shaped exactly like a tiny, majestic dragon. Without hesitation, he completely swallowed it. The fruit rushed down his stomach like warm, powerful energy. Instantly, his mind was pulled into a mysterious blank space where a shadow master taught him techniques. He practiced every single move endlessly until his body moved purely on instinct. Waking up back in the real world, his entire body felt like an absolutely upgraded powerhouse. He absorbed 20 whole years of pure energy. Curious to test this awesome new power, he approached a massive, heavy rock. He threw a slow palm strike, perfectly matching his shadow master. An explosive golden energy wave blasted out, roaring wildly like a real dragon. The rock seemed totally fine at first, but a slight breeze blew and the giant stone crumbled into dust, leaving a burned handprint behind. Right then, his grandpa ran over, holding a flashlight, completely startled by that massive noise. Seeing the totally destroyed rock, the old man was absolutely stunned, wondering out loud if Su Ming met a god. Su Ming laughed nervously, making up a quick lie about special breathing techniques and advanced physics he learned from a college professor. Grandpa knew absolutely nothing about physics, but totally trusted his smart college grandson. Still, he felt just a little bit sad about losing such a perfectly good rock. His grandpa playfully warned him to practice those crazy moves much farther away, so he does not accidentally break anything else. Looking closely at the epic burnt handprint, Su Ming quickly realizes his new power is basically a complete cheat code. The next morning, a sweet clinic worker named Lin Ziyo Wen cheerfully visits. She quickly notices how incredibly clear and perfectly smooth his skin looks today. Before they can even really chat, she receives an urgent medical call. She quickly drives off on her scooter, showing off a really cute new hair clip. Now watch closely. The very second she leaves, the weather turns horribly, strangely dark. On a quiet mountain road, two dark cars suddenly block her path. She crashes hard, and three masked men ruthlessly grab her, tossing her into their vehicle. Her lovely new clip drops straight into the mud. Back home, Su Ming gets a terrible feeling when she completely ignores his worried calls. He grabs his old bike, riding frantically into the pouring rain while using his inner energy to push the heavy water right off him. Finding her crashed scooter and broken clip, his heart instantly sinks. Just then, his cell phone abruptly rings. A disguised, mocking voice demands he bring his farming secrets and land papers to an abandoned factory, or they will severely hurt poor Lin Ziyo Wen. Su Ming becomes absolutely furious. He pedals his bike so incredibly hard that it snaps. So he angrily ditches it and starts intensely sprinting. Pushing his power, he runs much faster than a speeding car. His intense body heat literally vaporizes the heavy rain into steam before it even touches his skin. Reaching the old factory in minutes, he silently jumps into a tree to scout. He spots Lin Ziyo Wen tied up, looking badly bruised and hurt. Outside, two heavily armed guards are casually taking a quick smoke break. Su Ming silently takes them down in mere seconds, fiercely striking one guy and completely knocking out the other. He then marches straight up to that heavy iron door. Inside the massive factory, an arrogant rich boss named Master Wen threatens Lin Ziyo Wen with a sharp knife, demanding all those secrets. A terrifying mercenary leader named Venom carefully watches from the corner. You and I know what happens next. The doors crash open. Su Ming walks in, completely dry despite the storm, leaving Venom absolutely spooked by this impossible, crazy sight. Venom quickly realizes this intruder must be an incredibly strong master, quietly readying his weapon while Master Wen just freezes in absolute shock. This greedy, rich boss, Master Wen, had hired 5 elite, heavily armed mercenaries, led directly by the dangerous guy named Venomous Fang. They securely tied up poor Lin Ziyo Wen in this old warehouse, thinking it would easily force Su Ming to surrender his land. But as Su Ming confidently steps in, he completely ignores the raised weapons and Wen's loud threats. He walks straight over to Ziyo Wen, notices her bruised face, and calmly unties her ropes while she cries, begging him to run away. Furious, Wen loses his temper and screams to shoot. A mercenary fires off, but the flying bullet impossibly stops in midair, right before Su Ming's knee. Su Ming fiercely stomps the ground. His raw energy shoots the bullet right back, instantly defeating the shooter. Wen is totally speechless. Fang quickly realizes Su Ming is a legendary martial arts master, desperately yelling at his entire team to fire everything. Dozens of fired bullets fly out, but they all smash into an invisible energy wall, harmlessly dropping right down. Su Ming calmly strides right through the thick smoke. Within just seconds, he chops one guard down, then elbows another so powerfully, he launches straight into a heavy metal machine. Both guards are totally out. Desperate, Fang tries a cowardly sneak attack from behind. Without even turning around, Su Ming throws a backward palm strike. The insane force sends Fang flying into a thick brick wall, leaving him completely stuck there, knocked out cold. In less than 60 seconds, all those elite shooters are taken down. Yet Su Ming's crisp white shirt remains completely, perfectly clean. What a ride, right? Wen drops to his knees, completely shaking and begging for mercy. Let's dive into this epic showdown. He offers 500 million in his businesses. But Su Ming says no money can fix him, hurting Zai Wen. Realizing he is completely out of options, Wen suddenly plays his final hidden trick. Turns out he kept his own martial arts hidden for 30 whole years. He hurls 3 toxic needles directly at Su Ming's face, following right up with the heavy, massive punch. But Su Ming's energy shield easily deflects those needles. When that punch lands, the kickback is so insane, it completely shatters Wen's own hand. Looking down at the defeated boss, Su Ming steps back and pushes his palm forward to finish this. Su Ming unleashes a massive palm strike, packing absolutely insane pressure. It blasts this heavy guy named Master Wen straight into a thick brick wall. The impact is so intense that Wen is completely crushed to dust, eliminated right on the spot. Outside, 3 of Wen's henchmen witness this, completely panic, and try speeding away in a black SUV. Su Ming calmly wraps his coat around Lin Ziyuan, the medical student he is protecting. Now, pay close attention here. He tells her to close her eyes and count to 30, while he handles the trash, sprinting insanely fast after that SUV. He leaps up, bringing his leg down on the car roof like a giant axe, totally crushing the vehicle and blowing out all the tires. As those trapped guys beg for mercy, Su Ming just delivers 3 lightning-fast kicks, easily taking them completely out of the game. Instead of leaving them there, he tosses their defeated bodies into the wrecked car. To him, defeated strong fighters are basically just top-tier plant food for his farm. Right as Lin Ziyuan finishes counting to 30, Su Ming quickly catches her from falling. She looks around the messy warehouse, totally worried about all the defeated guys and the huge mess left behind. But Su Ming tells her to relax. He casually pulls the defeated guys from the walls, uses his bare hands to carve out the ruined concrete, and stomps the ground, shaking all the messy dirt into one giant pile. He packs the guys and all that dirty soil into a huge tarp, leaving the whole place completely spotless. He stuffs that heavy bag of enemies into the broken SUV and drives it straight back to his farm in Taoyuan village, with Lin Ziyuan following right behind him. Once they arrive, he waves his dog away and tells Lin Ziyuan to head inside and finally rest. He takes that massive bag straight to his magic farming field, digs a huge hole in under 2 minutes, and buries everything. His farming system immediately breaks down. The enemies, turning their raw energy into super nutrients that make his plants look incredibly fresh and healthy. Inside the house, Lin Ziyuan is still super shaken up. Su Ming hands her a glass of cool water from his magic well, which instantly calms her down. When she asks who he truly is, he just says he is a simple farmer trying to protect his land and everyone he deeply cares about. Instead of acting scared, Lin Ziyuan hugs him tightly, saying she really does not want to be a burden to him anymore. She desperately wants to learn how to fight. Su Ming just smiles and happily agrees to teach her. You and I know he is overpowered, right? Well, that night, he decides to make a training book for her and his grandpa. Searching the internet for Tai Kai moves, he mixes those basic moves with some fake magical quotes he saw on short videos, messily writing everything down with a normal pen. He takes that notebook out to his magic dirt and buries it, totally hoping the magical field will grow it into a real skill. But his system suddenly pops up, complaining that the book makes absolutely zero sense. Su Ming tries forcing it by feeding the dirt his own energy, but the system immediately warns him that his farm level is simply way too low to fix such a wildly confusing, crazy book. The red dirt in the yard quickly breaks down. Those fallen mercenaries, using them as fertilizer to sprout a small magic tree with black and white fruits. Su Ming is pretty thrilled with his special garden, digging up the defeated guys' ruined swords to recycle them into useful scrap metal. Suddenly, a whole bunch of badly smashed cars roll right up to his front gate. Chin Yuru, a wealthy city girl who usually looks absolutely perfect, stumbles out completely covered in dirt and desperately begs for help. Her protector, Old Lee, a seriously powerful boss from the capital, is pulled out on a stretcher. He looks like he is fading fast, his skin turning freezing cold. Chin Yuru explains they got ambushed by Wen family fighters on the road, and Old Lee pushed his weak body way too hard to save them. A fancy city doctor traveling with them starts yelling that Old Lee desperately needs a real hospital, not some random village guy. Su Ming completely ignores the guy. He grabs some needles from his helmet, Lin Ziyuan, and quickly performs some intense acupuncture to keep Old Lee stable. That fancy doctor just keeps on complaining until Su Ming's grandpa Old man Su steps right out, holding a heavy stick, and tells the doctor to shut his mouth. Su Ming heads to his backyard, picks a magic tomato plus a purple plant, boiling them into a hot soup. He brings it over, telling Chin Yuru to open old Li's mouth. The annoying doctor tries stopping him again, but Su Ming just casually trips the guy straight into a muddy puddle. Old Li drinks that hot magical soup, and almost immediately he spits out a bunch of dark, gross toxic waste. So what do you and I make of this? Instead of fading away, he jumps right up to focus his energy, leaving that fancy doctor totally shocked and completely speechless. Stick with me here. Lin Xiao Wen just casually warns the doctor about those mud leeches. Minutes later, Old Li is completely healed and looking way younger. He bows deeply to Su Ming, thrilled. The soup cured his old injuries and gave his martial arts a massive power-up. You and I saw that coming. Su Ming acts totally unfazed, casually charging them $1 million for the medicine. They head inside for some simple tea, but Old Li gets extremely serious. Now pay close attention. He warns Su Ming. The Wen family is totally panicking over their missing guy, calling in their absolute strongest backup, the Wang family, to track them down.